Hello fellow YouTubers, this is Nick from NOB Solutions, and today I'm going to show you how to deploy Windows NanoServer Technical Preview 4. 2 days ago, Microsoft released the new technical preview of Windows Server 2016, and there is not a lot of information going around still. I'm still waiting for a lot of articles to appear about the new features, but here and there you can search and see we now have the Hyper-V containers. That is a different topic. We now have the new Nano Server, but unfortunately no one mentioned what exactly and what will be included in the new version. At least I was not able to find. So I went ahead and downloaded the Windows Server 2016 Technical Preview 4 ISO. And when I've mounted the ISO, I noticed that there are few additional packages, few additional things that were added to the new version of the Nano Server, alongside with the new way to deploy the server. So in this video, I'm going to show you what is included in the Technical Preview 4 of the Nano Server. I will show you the Windows Server Image Generator PowerShell module, which is a new thing that Microsoft included. And we are going to use this module with the import module to convert our Win image to a VHD. I'm going to show you step by step how you can create the new PowerShell script and how to convert the Nano Server Win to a VHD. You have two options here. In my video I'm going to show you, because in the last video in the technical preview 3 I showed you how to create a Hyper-V virtual machine. This time I'm going to show you how you can create the VHD file and make it compatible with VMware Workstation. And later I'm going to power on my VMware Workstation virtual machine with my Nano Server on it, and I'm going to show you how things are working and the new Nano Server recovery console. So let's dig into the demonstration. Let me start by logging into my Windows 10 machine, where I have already downloaded the Windows Server 2016 Technical Preview 4, and you can download the preview from the Windows Server Evaluations portal. In there you will be able to sign in and then download a copy. I will provide the link in my description below with the exact link of the Windows Server 2016 TP4. So if I go to my ISO, I've renamed that because it was containing few additional details like versions and things that are not really explaining what is the ISO, so I've renamed it to Windows Server 2016 TP4. And if I mount the ISO, here again I have the Nano Server, and if I open the folder, I can see that I have the Nano Server WIM file alongside with a PowerShell module and another PowerShell script that can help me to convert the image. So what I'm going to do, and what I did actually, is I've made myself a quick script like before of how you can convert the image directly. So let me show that to you. As I said in my overview, Microsoft removed the script, the PowerShell script, and added a module which is going to help us to use commands, PowerShell commands, to convert our WIM image to a VHD image. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open a PowerShell with administrator privileges, run as administrator. Because if I try to run it here, it could fail. So just in case, I'm going to open a new PowerShell window, and we can start from there. Okay, now that is open, I'm going to copy over my script that I've made. Oh, close that by mistake. Let me reopen it. And here you can see on my Nano Server folder I made some other scripts that were applicable for Technical Preview 3, but now we have a better way to deploy the server. So I'm just going to paste the script here so I can explain what the script does in general. So I'm going to browse to the partition where I have the Nano Server scripts. So what you need to do in order for you to run this script, you need to go ahead and open the disk and browse the folder and just copy the convert script and the Nano Server image generator PowerShell module and paste them where you want the Nano Server VHD to be created. So with this module, it's going to mount the ISO file directly. It's going to make a base path where it's going to copy and convert all the files. And you need to pre-configure the Nano Server as before, and the VHD with the exact folder. You need to create the folders before you run the script. So it's in my Technical Preview 3 it failed, so it's better to create the folder before you run the script. So here I'm going to import module, and I'm going to choose Nano Server image generator, and I'm going to press enter. So now with this module I'll be able to use the new Nano Server image PowerShell script, and it will provide me all the details, all the information, all the needed commands when I write the script. So let me show you. I'm going to start with new Nano Server image, and then I'm going to choose the media path. As you can see, it's currently checking for the script. It's checking what are the options within that script, and it's going to help me to achieve that. So the media path, in my case, I'm going to check and see it's H drive, because here on the H drive I've mapped the ISO. So the media path is the H drive. The base path, this is the path where it's going to create a base folder where it's going to copy the WIM image and the packages, and it's going to use this WIM image to create my VHD and export my VHD to the target path later. So if you write the /base, it's going to create that within the folder where is the Nano Server image script. So in my case, this is on the E volume. So it's going to create a new folder called base, and it's going to copy all the needed files there. So I'm going to proceed with target path, and again on the E drive, Nano Server, and then VHD, and then NLB hyper nano 01.vhd. As you see from the VHD, this machine, this Nano Server, I'm going to make Hyper-V Nano Server. Later I'm going to make another video how you can manage the Nano Server from another server within your domain, where you can use the Hyper-V management console instead of going with PowerShell. I've made a video in the past where you can connect to the Nano Server by PowerShell. You can create a virtual machine by PowerShell. You can start that and basically do everything you want, but remotely for using the PowerShell. But now I'm going to use the GUI so it can be more easier for you. So I'm going to make that disk, that VHD disk, with maximum size of 20 gigabytes. So this disk is going to be dynamically expanding, and it's going to be up to 20 gigs. And the next one is computer name. I'm going to name that NLB Hyper Nano 01, and I'm going to include the packages. As you can see now, if I just enter a hyphen, it will show me what are all the options within the PowerShell module and the script itself. So as I said on my overview, I'm really not sure, because here I cannot see the new features like the DNS, like the IIS, like other features as well. I can only see a new feature that is creating my server, and it's making the server suitable for Azure. but I'm not able to see the DNS, for example. I've had to browse through the script, and I saw that they've only added the packages that we had before to this script. So just for test purposes, I'm going to add the packages that we all know and that work with this script. So another thing that I've noticed, there are two options here, because if you remember before from my technical preview 3, the OEM drivers are including all the drivers that are taken from the core version of Windows and are added here, so you can work, all the drivers could work with your hardware normally and without any issues. And I've imported the OEM drivers alongside with the guest. The guest drivers was if you want your Nano Server to be a virtual machine, which I'm going to do in this case as well. But when I try to import the OEM drivers alongside with the guest drivers here, it told me that it's not compatible. I need to choose only OEM drivers or only guest drivers. So I had to look over to TechNet, and I found that the OEM drivers are used if you want this Nano Server to be a physical machine. So another thing that I've noticed is if you want your Nano Server to be able to work on a VMware Workstation, for example, you will need to add the OEM drivers instead of the guest drivers. If you add the guest drivers, it will blue screen constantly and it will not able to load the operating system. So in this demonstration, I'm going to show you how I can add the OEM drivers and power on the Nano Server on my VMware Workstation. So I'm going to add the OEM drivers, I'm going to add the compute package, which is the Hyper-V role. And another interesting thing that I've did, and it's working really fine, and you're able to manage your server from within your domain much easier than doing that from PowerShell and running additional commands to allow the connection. This time I'm going to join it to my domain noblab.com directly. So if you want to do this, there are two options to join the machine to the domain. First is directly to create the VHD, to convert the VHD from a machine that is within your domain. So that machine is going to add all the needed files, and it's going to create all the settings for your Nano Server, and I'm going to show you later on my domain controller. As soon as I've create the machine, I will see that on my computer's containers or my server containers, another machine with nob-hypernano-01 will appear automatically. So this is a really good way to add your Nano Server directly into your domain. Another way is to create offline domain join file, a blob file, and you need to create that from a machine that is within your domain. And later, when you create your Nano Server, when you power that on, you can copy over that offline domain join file and run another command within the Nano Server to join it to your domain. So I'm going to choose this option because it's much easier for me. And when I press enter, yeah, maybe I need to add the name of the Nano Server like that. Let's try again. He's giving me, oh, so the character length of the computer name must not exceed 16 characters. So I understand now. So I'm going to remove the hyphen. Let's see if that's going to work. Yep. And the first thing, it's going to ask me for my administrator password. That is going to be the local administrator on my Nano Server. So I'm going to specify a password and press enter. And now it's going to mount the image the Vim image. It's going to copy all the files. You can see that before we had some additional information. Now they try to, as we have the import module and it's currently working, it's copying the files, it's processing. You can see that this window will start to fill. Alongside you will see the details like before, that it's going to mount the Vim image, it's going to create the new VHD file, and it's going to copy over the information, and at the end it's going to import all the packages that I've specified. In this case only the OEM drivers and the compute package. So now that you can see that it's converting the image and it's showing me what commands are currently running. So again, I'm going to leave this so you can see what is the full process that is going through when it's converting the image once again. It's pretty much the same as the technical preview 3, but this time they've, as I said, after they added the PowerShell module, it's much easier to administer and to convert this image, because I've read all over the internet that few users were unable to work properly with converting the image, so that the additional scripts were created so that they can help. But Microsoft did their job here and help the users to create the VHD more in a more easy way, so that the Nano server could be used by more people. So let's see if my VHD image is going to be successfully created. Okay, you can see that several CMD windows could appear, and now after my Vim image was imported into my VHD, it's going to add the packages one by one, starting with my Hyper-V compute package, and after that it's going to add the OEM drivers. After adding every single package, it's going to add a language package that corresponds to that role. So as I showed you, we have only English language packages for now. I assume that with the next technical preview and the final version, we're going to have many additional language packages, but for now, just for testing purposes, we have only this. And the OEM drivers package is the biggest one, because it contains a lot of drivers, so it will take most of the time importing that package. After that, the image would be, by adding only the raw OEM drivers and compute, the image, the VHD file is going to be around 600 megabytes. So it's, as you can see, that it's still under 1 gig, which is amazing to have an operating system that is running and running core roles, for example as a Hyper-V server, and you have the things that are in this operating system will prevent any critical errors to happen, because there is not much that can break there. So that's the general idea that Microsoft are and the general approach that they are working, which is I think it's amazing. So after the language package for my OEM drivers is finished, it's going to add an unattended XML file, which I, to be honest with you, I haven't been able to see what's currently in that unattended file, but I assume that it's related to all the settings that needs to be pre-configured on the server. After that, it's going to show you that there is a log that was created under the app data for the Nano Server image generator, which will show you what are the steps one by one that it did with this image, with this VHD. So it's going to dismount the image, and after the image is dismounted, we can go ahead and see what is the result. Okay, the script finished successfully. So let's go within the E partition. Now you can see that I have the base image and the base VHD that it did create, alongside with the Nano Server WIM, some additional tools that it used to create my VHD file, and all the packages. So this base file is safe to delete after the image, the VHD, was fully created. If I go to my Nano Server VHD, I can see that I have the NLB-HyperNano-01, and the size of the image is, like I said, 600, around 670-80 megs. So it's not that big. Now that I have my VHD in place, I can go ahead and convert the VHD disk into VMDK in order for me to create a virtual machine within my VMware Workstation. To be honest, there are a lot of tools over the internet that can help you to achieve this, that are not provided directly from Microsoft, but there are a lot of interesting tools that can help you to convert a VHD to VMDX. So I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to use my tool to convert this image, and I'm going to continue after I have the image in place. I've converted the VHD disk into an VMDK disk that I'm going to use to create a new virtual machine within my VMware Workstation. So if you have a Hyper-V machine, don't worry about it. As I said before, just within the script, instead of using the OEM Drivers package, use the guest package. That's the thing that is going to help you to mount that VHD disk on a Hyper-V machine later. If you want the process from here, it's not much different from the one that I've showed in my last video of creating the Hyper-V Nano Server. So you can check the link that I'm going to show you here, so you can see how I did the VHD, how I created the virtual machine within Hyper-V, and how I started it from there. But just for this technical preview, which is the fourth one, I'm going to show you how you can create that with VMware Workstation instead. So before I continue with creating my virtual machine, I just want to go to my domain controller to show you. If I wait for my server manager to load and open Active Directory users and computers, I can see that under computers container I have the NLB HyperNano-01, and this machine was pre-configured and added to my Active Directory, so that as soon as I boot up the Nano Server, it's going to I'll be able to log in with my domain credentials. So let's continue with creating the Hyper-V, creating the VMware Workstation virtual machine. I just want to show you what are the settings that you need to configure in order for your Nano Server to be fully up and running within VMware Workstation. Here you can see that I've specified the version. I've chosen the latest version of my workstation alongside with the operating system, which is Windows Server 2012. Don't worry about it, it will fully work, and the other options are basically optional. So as soon as you click finish and you power on that machine, it will boot up fully loading. So let's start from there. Now that I've powered on my machine, it's going to start loading, and let's see if my Nano Server would be fully operational after that. Okay, it's looking good. So I'm going to log into my Nano server, but instead of using the local credentials, the administrator and the password that you set when you were deploying the Nano server, I'm going to use my domain admin credentials, which is nob admin, and the domain is nob lab. So I'm going to press enter. And now I'm logged in into my Nano server recovery console. You can see that they've changed few things here and there, and now we have more things that we could do with this Nano server, with this console. So I'm really glad that they've added additional things for us to modify, to check, and yeah, instead of just going ahead and checking the Ethernet and what is the Ethernet connection at the moment, you can see below that we have the networking and the firewall. So if you go to networking, it will specify what and how many adapters you have. I have only one at this moment, and you will have more information for this adapter. So now it's picking up an IPv4 address, but from where? I wonder. Let me show you guys. It's if I go to my DC, which is a DHCP server, let me expand that, and if I go to address leases, you can see that currently my Nano server was able to pick up an address from my DHCP server, which is great. The functionality here is just amazing, and I really like that. And another thing that you can see below is that now we have the functionality of changing the routing tables, add static routes or dynamic routes, and you can see that by pressing F11 you will be able to check the IPv4 settings. So let me press F11. Now I have the option to turn off DHCP, to enable or disable by pressing the F4. So let me disable that. Then by pressing the tab, you will be able to specify a new IP address. So I'm going to go with 10.0.0.15 subnet mask, and then the default gateway. .1. So if I press enter, it will ask me if you want to save the settings. I will press enter once again. Operation succeeded. So now you can, from the recovery console, you'll be able to change the way your Nano server is working. So now, as you can see from my interface, the DHCP is disabled. I have an IPv4 address, and I've set everything manually. So this is a new feature that is really cool. So I'm going to escape, and we'll show you the firewall as well. So the firewall, if you go there, you will see that it's showing few rules that are pre-configured within your firewall. You can browse them, you can open them to see what is the rule. And yeah, it's basically saying that if the rule is inbound or outbound, what exactly is the rule, if it allows or disallows, if it's using TCP or UDP, what port it's using. So you can enable and disable this from here. For example, this one, yeah, let me see. Yeah, here we have a local port, we have a remote port. So these are rules from your firewall on your Nano server that you can configure from here and allow or disallow, which is really great. So now that we have our Nano server fully deployed and fully working on my as a virtual machine on my VMware Workstation, wrap up this video of how you can deploy a Nano server, Windows NanoServer Technical Preview 4. So hopefully you will be able to configure a Nano server at home, and you will be able to work with it and to see what is the new functionality. So thank you very much for viewing, and see you soon.